war isn't over yet.
Now it's time to stand on the next Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
It's Janelle Waz, and welcome back to my ranking of Star Trek Deep Space Nine with Tiermaker.com. War, what is it good for? Well, actually, DS9 Season 6. That's right, the Dominion War has officially started and will last all the way to the very end of the show. It's kind of brewing before this point, but now we're fully in the war. I got some great episodes coming up, some story arcs, and a couple of standalone episodes, so let's get started. A time to stand. So we see Ducat's in charge of Terok Nor. Sisko and the gang are hanging out by Starfleet now. They're being sent on little missions. Kira's upset because she's working under Ducat. Ducat creepily hits on her.
Oh, we already do.
A pretty good start to the season. The first 6 episodes are one story arc. I call it the Dominion Occupation arc because that's when the Dominion has control of DS9. And yeah, I'd call that a pretty good start to the season. You know, probably because it follows Call to Arms pretty well, I'm gonna go ahead and put it up by S tier. Like right under Call to Arms. Rocks and Shoals, the episode that gave us Kevon. And that would lead to a very excellent episode later in this season. You have a pretty good dynamic in this season between the Jem'Hadar and Kevon, their lead Vorta, and just how committed the Jem'Hadar are to their honor, because even though Sisko's warning the Jem'Hadar first, hey, Kevon's betrayed you, you have no reason to follow him, the Jem'Hadar first is like, yeah, I suspected, but this is what I was born to do, so I have to do it.
It is not my life to give up, Captain. And it never was.
And they have this huge firefight. Kevon gets captured. Sisko has a badass pose. Actually, he has a couple of badass poses in this episode. Man, Avery Brooks did real well with these poses.
They say.
All the wrong things?
Yeah, I don't have super strong feelings for the episode. It's a good episode, but yeah, it's probably more of an A-tier episode for me. Which I know it sounds like I'm being a little harsh putting a DS9 episode in A tier. Yeah, I think it's an A-tier episode. I'd probably put it... It probably should go above House of Quark and Looking for Parmak in all the wrong places. But I think I slightly enjoy House of Quark and Looking for Parmak a little bit more just because of the comedy, and I do like a good comedic episode. So I'll probably put it right about... Yeah, well, I do like Progress too. No, I'll put it under Progress. It's a good episode. There are a couple episodes I probably like a little bit more in A tier. Sons and Daughters, the one where Ducat tries to give Kira a dress, she refuses it, and then he gives it to his daughter. I imagine Zial's like, wow, Dad, thanks for the dress, but hey, isn't this Major Kira's size? And isn't it a little tight and revealing? That is kind of the wake-up point for Kira, that she's kind of borderline being... Oh, no, that's... No. If we don't mind going back to Rocks and Shoals for a moment, as I go off on this little tangent. It's always a mark of great writing how DS9 handled Vedic Yazim's death without getting super graphic. Because all you really had to see was her stepping off the upper level of the promenade, the rope going taut, her feet dangling, and Kira's horrified expression. You didn't have to get really graphic about her death. That was all you needed. And I always see that as a mark of great writing in DS9. And in other shows as well. And I think it's something that a lot of modern shows lack. I wish modern shows would go more towards, like, the implied stuff and not, like, showing everything, on screen. But anyway, Sons and Daughters. Still a good episode. Probably put it around Rocks and Shoals, I would think. Yeah, I probably enjoyed a little bit more than Rocks and Shoals, so I'll put that there. Oh no, Behind the Lines, when that shows up. I did a whole video about Odo in this story arc and just how infuriating he is throughout the whole thing. And it's all because of that Like, she ain't even hot, Odo! Look what you've got!
Shame on you. Look what you got.
Odo, answer me.
But yeah, it's one of those things where, as infuriating as Odo is in this, like, set of episodes, like, for the rest of the arc, Rene Auberjonois is a good actor. I'm not gonna deny him that, but man, what did the writers do to Odo? Still a good episode. I was considering A tier, but I think I'm gonna put it low S tier. This is a pretty good episode. We have that great moment with Kira at the end of the episode where she really lets Odo have it. It's a great, it's a great Rene Auberjonois Nana Visitor episode, just for the acting.
Rom is sitting in a holding cell being interrogated. He was counting on you. I was counting on you.
Favor the Bold, which unfortunately is not a Sisko cooking show called Flavor the Bold. Alright, that was terrible. You know you'd watch it, though. This is the episode where Kira punches Damar. That's right! Because Damar told her to stay out of his conversation with Zial, and that look Kira gives, it's like, it was at that moment Kira knew she had to hand out an ass whooping. So that's the start of Sisko planning to take back DS9, and the next episode, Sacrifice of Angels, he does. But yeah, this is where, the planning all starts. But another really good episode. I think I'm gonna put it up in S tier. Sacrifice of Angels is a really great end to this story arc, where the Federation finally takes back DS9, and they're working with Bajor again. Unfortunately, Zial is killed off at the end, which... It is a really well-acted scene by both, oh, I forgot the actress's name for Zial. Melanie Smith and Marco Limo. They have a really good final scene together, and you do kind of feel bad for Dukat at the end, because as much as a jerk as he is throughout the entire show, losing his daughter was like the final thing that sent him over the edge. Of course, he was messing with the baseball a little bit too much. If you haven't checked out my video about the baseball, make sure you do. But a really great end to this story arc. I'm gonna go ahead and call it low S tier. Maybe it's a little bit better than Time to Stand. You are cordially invited. A little episode to lighten the mood a bit. So that's Worf and Jadzia getting married. There's misunderstandings. It does have a lot of the whole romantic comedy bullshit going on with the whole, well, I want a big fancy wedding. Well, I don't care. Well, I want you to join the House of Martok. Well, I don't care about that. Let's just have Sisko say a few words. It's like, well, we can't do that. The wedding's off. And yeah, it does have some of that bullshit in there that I'm not crazy about, but we do have some great moments with Worf's bachelor party.
No food for those on the path to Kalhaya.
No refunds for those on the path to Kalhaya as well.
Alexander.
Grandma?
I become a little jaded with this episode. It's probably a B tier episode for me. And also bear in mind, I'm not a super big Worf and Jadzia shipper. They're okay as a couple, but I think there are better pairings out there. I'm all for Worf and Kalar. Of course, Kalar died. But I'm much more of a fan of, Julian and Jadzia being a couple. Worf and Jadzia's fine, but I think it would have been better if it was Jadzia and Julian. But that's just me. Yeah, I'm probably gonna put it in, the high B tier. It's probably better than The Adversary. I'll put it there. Oh boy, Resurrection. That's another Mirror Universe episode, and you all know how much I love the Mirror Universe episodes in DS9. And it pains me to say it too, I don't like this episode, and it's a Burial episode. Except there were better ways to bring Burial back. Not his mirror version, I want real Burial. Give me real Burial back! So, yeah, I'm sorry, it's gonna have to go F tier for me. Question is, where in F tier? I mean, maybe we'll call it high F tier because it does have Burial. But, yeah. Yeah, it's still F tier. Statistical probabilities. That's the genetically enhanced people. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of those four. The episode does have some cute moments. There's the party hats. And Patrick is kind of a lovable character in there. The character Jack just makes the whole episode really unpleasant to watch, because he's just a really unpleasant guy, and he just affects the whole episode negatively, so...
There are rules. Don't talk with your mouth full. Don't open an airlock when somebody's inside it. And don't lie about your genetic status. No.
Yeah, I might have to put it in D tier. I'm not a big fan of this episode. It might be better than The Assignment, so I'll put it there. Magnificent Ferengi, no question about it, S tier. In fact, we're in S tier, it's gonna go above Trials and Tribulations. It's a really fun Ferengi episode. You got the action going on, you got the comedy, you got slapstick, and all the actors do a wonderful job with it. I wish we could have seen more of Lek in the show, because he was a really fun character.
Who do you want eliminated?
It's not that kind of job.
Then why call an eliminator?
You got Iggy Pop as a Vorta, and he's got some great line delivery. And yeah, we have the return of Kevon. This is Kevon's other episode, so if it wasn't for Rox and Shoals, we wouldn't have Magnificent Ferengi. Everybody's just great in this episode. Go watch it. Even if you've never seen DS9 before, go watch this episode. I think this was the episode that got my mom hooked on DS9, was the Magnificent Ferengi. I think it was Moogie. Like, she really liked the character of Moogie.
Now let's see if you're a changeling.
That's no way to tell if he's a changeling.
But, yeah, watch the episode. Waltz is an episode that works really well as a two-man play. Kind of like Duet worked really well as a two-man play, Waltz works really well as a two-man play. This time it's between Crazy Ducat and Sisko. And, well, I suppose technically it's not a two-man play because you have the manifestations of, like, Ducat's insanity coming up and, like, talking to him. It's a two-man play, except for all the voices in Ducat's head.
Norris won't leave well enough alone.
Let's pretend that the Major's not even here.
The episode is very well acted by both Avery Brooks and Mark Alaimo. To be honest, though, I don't go out of my way to watch it a whole bunch, because it does have that creep factor going on. If we're just going off my opinion of the episode, and whether or not I go out of my way to watch it a whole bunch, I'd probably put it in B tier somewhere. But if we're taking into account the quality of the episode, it is a really good quality episode, so I think I'm gonna end up putting it in probably low A tier for me. I'll probably call it better than... let's say it's better than Rapture. Who Mourns for Morn is another comedy episode. Man, they had a comedy episode with Magnificent Ferengi, then you had the serious episode with Waltz, then you got another Ferengi comedy episode with Who Mourns for Morn. Morn is supposedly dead, he names Quark as his heir, and it turns out Morn was this mastermind of this, like, great heist, and his old business associates are trying to come in and take his fortune. Yeah, it's kind of a caper episode. You got some interesting characters going on, and I think the fact that Morn's business associates are these interesting characters, they got interesting personalities, they got charisma, I think that's what sells the episode. I think I'm gonna put it in A tier somewhere. I'd say it's probably better than the Nagus. I think I'll put it there. Far Beyond the Stars. People are gonna be a little mad at me for this, but I'm not a super big fan of the episode. But it's like with The Visitor, where I can recognize it's a great episode, and the acting is phenomenal in here. And I think the big reason why I'm not a super big fan of the episode, and I don't go out of my way to watch it a whole bunch, is because it is a bit hard to watch, you know, because it's dealing with a lot of the discrimination of the 1950s in this episode. It is a little bit of a tough episode to watch, but it is good, and if it's on TV, I will tune in and I'll watch it, but if I'm going through my DVDs, yeah, I usually don't watch it. I can see why people love this episode, because it is well acted, and Avery Brooks does a phenomenal job with it.
Try to stay calm, Benny.
No, I'm tired of being calm. Calm never got me a damn thing.
So I think I'm gonna put it right next to The Visitor, because it's kind of like that level with me. I think I'll put The Visitor a little bit higher. I don't really go out of my way to watch it a whole bunch, but I understand why people like it, and it is a good episode. Man, I have like the 2 episodes people love in this show in B tier, and somebody's gonna get upset. I'm sorry, guys! One Little Ship, or Honey, I Shrunk the Runabout. It's a goofball episode that I should enjoy, because I do like the goofball episodes of DS9. But yeah, this one I'm pretty lukewarm on, I admit. It's got some really good effects and sets in the episode, but yeah, I'm not crazy about it. It's probably a B tier episode for me. It probably goes under sort of Kalis. Oh yeah, Honor Among Thieves, I skip almost every single time. Yeah, the episode has O'Brien in an undercover mission, and it doesn't make much sense why they would send him to do this mission, but they do. It's probably a C tier episode for me. It's probably better than Q-less, but yeah, I skip it almost every time. Change of Heart, the episode that teased Jadzia was gonna die, and then they didn't kill her off and they waited a few episodes to do it. Yeah, Worf and Jadzia should never have been put on that mission together, especially as newlyweds. That is like a big plot hole in this episode, and I can't really get past it. It's an alright episode, but yeah, it's one of those episodes I don't go out of my way to watch, so because of that logic, I'll probably put it maybe under Armand Bashir. Yeah, not a bad episode, but yeah, it's got some problems. Wrong's Darker Than Death or Night, or in other words, Kira finds out that her mom dated Ducat. Well, dated is a light term. It's a really sad episode, and it's another one of those where it's a good episode, but I don't watch it a whole bunch because it's a tough watch. I'm probably gonna put it in B tier under Change of Heart. Under Change of Heart. Okay, above Destiny. Yeah, it's a tough watch. Good episode, but yeah, you gotta be in the right mood to watch it. Inquisition, the only Section 31 episode that I tolerate. Tolerate may be a strong word for it. It's probably the only decent Section 31 episode. Well, no, I mean, I remember Enterprise handling Section 31 alright, but I do not like Section 31 episodes, but I don't mind Inquisition, but Section 31 should have just been a 1-episode organization, and then we never hear from them ever again. Yeah, they tried to recruit Julian into Section 31, which is kind of like the Federation's version of, like, the Obsidian Order or Tel Shiar. And I'm sure flies in the face of, like, everything Gene Roddenberry envisioned for Star Trek, but DS9 did it. It's an interesting episode, because the first time you're going through it, you're not really sure what's real and what's not. The whole episode just screws with Julian's head. And also the viewer as well. It's an alright episode. I'd probably call it a B tier episode, because it does have like that thriller aspect of it, but yeah, once you know how it ends, I suppose the rewatch value goes down a little bit, but it's still a decent episode. I'd say it's probably better than The Forsaken. I'd say Dr. Bashir, I presume, is better. Yeah, Inquisition's not quite as good as Dr. Bashir, I presume. Okay, we got another S tier episode right off the bat. In the Pale Moonlight, it's going up top. Right there. Fantastic episode. Avery Brooks does a fantastic job with it. Andrew Robinson does a fantastic job of it. You have the whole ethics of whether or not Sisko should be tricking the Romulans to enter the Dominion War. Like, the entire episode is Sisko talking to the camera, trying to reason out what he did over, like, the past, what was it, like a week or so?
Computer, what day is it?
Yeah, Avery Brooks basically spends the entire episode breaking the fourth wall, and it works so well.
People are dying out there every day.
Very much understandable why this is a top episode. It's a top episode for a lot of people. And yeah, it definitely deserves its spot in S tier. There's one episode that I rank above In the Pale Moonlight, but yeah, In the Pale Moonlight is definitely one of DS9's best. Highly recommend.
But the most damning thing of all, I think I can live with it.
His Way, Vic!
Come fly with me, pack up, let's fly away.
Not gonna lie to you all, James Darren's kind of been a celebrity crush of mine for some years now. Rest in peace, James Darren. So he plays Vic Fontaine, who's like this 60s lounge singer in Las Vegas, and he gets Odo and Kira together. the friend zone doesn't work for Vic, he breaks down the friend zone and gets those two together.
The girl already likes you. That means you're halfway home.
You do have some of the rom-com bullshit going on in this episode, some misunderstandings, and the shy guy trying to work up the courage to talk to the woman that he's in love with. But you have Vic.
I've got you under my skin.
And I think it's an excuse to have James Darren singing, songs from like the 60s, like Sinatra era. And I'm all here for it. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a low A tier episode. Probably better than Shadowplay. The Reckoning. Jake and Kira are possessed and having a fight on the promenade. This is probably one of the points in the show where DS9 really leans to the whole spiritual warfare aspect of the story. I've probably cooled on this episode over the years. I'd say it's probably not as good as Rapture for me. I'll call it like a high B tier episode, I think. Probably better than The Adversary. I'll put it there. Valiant. I do not like this episode. Jake and Nog happen upon a ship full of cadets. They're trying to fight in the Dominion War, and of course they screw up. I wouldn't call it a bad episode, and I do see people really like the episode as well, but yeah, I think the crew of the Valiant makes the whole experience really unpleasant for me, which is why I don't like the episode, so I'll go ahead and call it like a low C tier episode. It's probably better than, well, it's definitely better than Q-less. I'll say it's better than Honor Among Thieves. Alright, Prophet and Lace is definitely the worst episode of the show. It's F tier. And the funny thing is, when I first heard about the premise of Quark becoming a woman, I'm like, man, this sounds like the greatest thing ever. This is like Ferengi comedy gold, right? And it turns out, oh, this is not the greatest thing ever. I think I've read some behind the scenes stuff, and I do agree with this idea, that they either should have done a straight up comedy or a straight up drama with this premise, and they try to do both. And yeah, I can see why it would end up failing in both genres. Yeah, it's clear it did not work for Prophet and Lace. Time's Orphan. Chief O'Brien's daughter falls in a time hole and emerges as a feral 18-year-old. That's the whole episode. Oh yeah, and Worf babysits Kirayoshi O'Brien. Yeah, it's another O'Brien Must Suffer episode, only it's his entire family that's suffering now. And it goes through the motions, and it's pretty standalone. They end up back at the status quo by the end of the episode, where we do get Molly O'Brien back. I'll go ahead and say it's probably better than Melora. The sound of her voice finds the Defiant crew tracking this woman's voice. She claims she's stuck on this planet, she's running out of air, she needs help. They're like going as fast as they can to the planet, and then it turns out she died 3 years ago. Yeah, I'm not super big into the episode. I skip it almost every time it's on. It's not a badly acted episode, and you do get a lot of insight into the characters and their relationships with each other. But yeah, the ending's kind of dumb, and I think that's what ruins it for me. So I'm gonna probably put it in C tier, I think. I think it's probably better than Honor Among Thieves, so I'll put it there. Tears of the Prophets, the season finale, and also Jadzia's last episode. And it's a heartbreaking episode, because they really put salt in the wound when it comes to Jadzia's death, because her and Worf were gonna start a family, and they were having difficulties because he's a Klingon, she's a Trill, there's like, biological incompatibility there. Julian just gave Jadzia the okay that, yeah, you shouldn't have any problems having kids at this point. And then a possessed Dukat appears and kills Jadzia. Like, what the hell? And then to make matters even worse, her dying words to Worf,
Our baby would have been so beautiful.
Holy crap! And her death just ended up being like she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. It was kind of a stupid death when you think about it. I mean, like Tasha Yar, okay, she acted like an idiot in Skin of Evil, where Armis told her, hey, don't walk over here, and she's like, I'm gonna walk over here. Jadzia was literally in the Bajoran temple shrine, I think maybe it's a shrine, like asking for help from the prophets, like, hey, I'd really like a baby, and then she gets killed off. they really didn't have to kill off Jadzia. They could have made her a recurring character in Season 7. All things considered, though, it is a pretty good episode. I'm not gonna lie, even though, yeah, Jadzia dying is really heartbreaking, I wish it didn't happen, it was handled pretty well. I mean, it's emotional. It made me feel something. So, Tears of the Prophets, it's probably, I'm gonna call it an A-tier episode. I'll go ahead and call it better than... let's call it better than Shadowplay, I think. DS9 Seasons 1 to 6 ranked so far. Bulk of the episodes in B tier and above, and really only a couple in C, D, and F tiers. One more season to go, and I do think Season 7 of DS9 is probably one of the weaker seasons of the show. I used to think it was one of the best, but I've kind of cooled on it over the years. But we still got some great episodes in that season as well. But yeah, one more episode in this series. I still need to rank Season 7, and then I would have ranked the entire show, so stay tuned for that. As always, thanks for tuning in to another Tiermaker video. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
Now let's see if you're a changeling.